Hello and welcome. My name is Dominic Fugere. We're here in Austin, Texas at the Circuits of the Americas for the brand new America's Rallycross Championship. Paddock is already brimming with action. Lots of people. Texas sun is here. We are ready to go for round 2. 8 cars in the Supercars, 9 in the ARX2 category. As you can see, round 1 was in Silverstone, UK last May. We are now here for round 2. We will then go to Trois-Rivières in Quebec, Canada, and back at COTA for the final round end of September. Full day of action here at the Circuits of the Americas. You can follow it all along on Facebook Live or also on the ARX Rallycross YouTube channel. We're going to have 4 rounds of qualifying, then the semifinals and the finals. Obviously, this is going to be nice, but there was already a lot of action at Silverstone. Let's go to Andrew Coley, see how it was.
Round 1, the first ever America's Rallycross event, took place at the historic Silverstone circuit in the United Kingdom as part of the Speed Machine Festival, combining great music with thrilling on-track action. The drama started early in qualifying. In the very first session, contact between Patrick Sandell in one of the factory Subarus and Austrian Timo Scheider in a Seat Ibiza caused carnage at turn 1. Sandell carried damage throughout the race, leaving Volkswagen's Scott Speed unchallenged out front, but ultimately unable to match the pace of his teammate Tanner Faust. On to Q2, and ex-DTM and World RX driver Scheider's hood flew up, leaving him a very narrow view of the track. Despite barely seeing where he was going, he pushed to the limit, chasing Sandell. Incredibly, Scheider finished the race P2 with a time good enough for 4th overall. Speed and Faust would go head-to-head for fastest time in their race, but Speed's challenge ended early after an altercation with the tyres in turn 2. Faust out front was fastest again. High drama in Q3 as Chris Atkinson rolled the Subaru in a fight for position at the second corner. To the delight of the crowd, he fired the battered car back up and brought it home, despite nearly rolling again. No such issues for Speed, making good use of clear track. He was fastest overall in Q3. Q4 and Timo Scheider finally had a clear run, making this incredible double pass on Faust and Speed in turn 2, outside to inside. Despite hard charging pressure from the VW Beetles, Scheider held on to take the win and the fastest time, but the coveted top qualifier spot went to Tanner Faust, consistently at the top of the timesheets all weekend. On to the knockout format semi-finals, and TQ man Tanner Faust got a rocket ship start to take a clear hole shot onto the gravel in semi-1. Behind him, Sandell jokered mid-race to try and get the undercut on Scheider, but merging back into traffic, he couldn't make up the time. The top 3 go through: Faust, Scheider and Sandell. Semi-final 2 saw a great launch by Speed, but with Brit Liam Doran in the Citroën DS3 slotting into second. Rennie Municher jokered early in the Seat Ibiza, but David Higgins responded a lap later and slotted the Subaru out just in front at a super tight merge. Speed took the win to book a front row slot with his teammate in the final, with the crowd pleased to see home drivers Doran and Higgins go through too. On to the first ever ARX final and an absolutely incredible first lap. Scheider made a move at turn 2 that nearly saw him take the lead, while Speed and Doran went side by side for half a lap, including over the jump. Doran dropped back and then repassed, and finally Speed decided to joker to get some clean track. Scheider chased the leader hard until broken steering pitched the Ibiza into the wall, while Liam Doran jokered late in the race and just held on to 3rd from Sandell. Great reward for his mechanics, who pulled an all-nighter to get the car ready. But round 1 belonged to Tanner Faust. Maximum points with TQ semi and final wins, all followed closely by his teammate Scott Speed. A brilliant result for Volkswagen Andretti Racing.
Silverstone went pretty well for us. I mean, it's pretty ideal. You win your heats, you win your semi-final, and you win the race. That's how it's supposed to work out.
Now, the man you just heard calling the play-by-play action from Silverstone is my good friend Andrew Coley, the voice of Rallycross. Andrew, a lot of action at Silverstone for the first ARX round. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, great to kick this series off in such great style, but also fantastic to now bring it home to the States. You know, it's my first time here, incredible atmosphere. We had a brand new track at Silverstone. We've got another brand new track here, so it's a level playing field. The guys to watch last time out, you know, VW, Tanner Faust, TQ, semi-final win. So are they going to be able to do it here? Maybe it'd be Subaru. You know, there's all to play for.
Good thing is that a lot of excitement, a lot of people are here to see the ARX. Now, Tanner Faust, winner at Silverstone, is going to take us around this brand new track and tell us what it's about.
For such a short track, there really are a lot of very tricky technical little bits on this COTA race course. So here we are in the last turn. Now this is a section that you're absolutely flat out coming through the dirt and threading the needle in what is a small chicane. The tricky part about it is you have 3 or 4 corners packed into a short amount of time, all under braking. You make a quick little jog around that Cooper tire sign, back to the left again, trying not to bounce off these tires, back to the right onto the tarmac where you have some grip, back to the right again where you have a very slippery turn 1. It's an amazing section of the track that will be exciting for sure. One interesting track feature that's unique to Rallycross among all motorsport in the world is the Joker lap. So during the heats, the semifinals, and the finals, each driver has to take the Joker lap 1 time. The Joker lap typically is about 2 seconds longer than the normal lap. The reason for doing this is to spread the cars out and to give an opportunity for a team to use strategy to get a clean lap. Sometimes it can be difficult to pass on the normal lap. You can be stuck in the dust or simply can't get around this 10-foot wide ford. But with the Joker lap, you're able to get some clean track time, click off your laps, and hopefully make the pass before that other car takes the Joker lap and falls right in behind you. In America's Rallycross, rather than having one big long race that lasts all day, the race day is broken into several little short races, heats. So there's 4 qualifying heats, and what happens is the better you finish in each of those qualifying heats, the better your start position for the semifinal. That's when your finishing order really matters, because that places your starting order for the final. The better you start in the final, the better your chances of getting through turn 1 first are. There's a lot of interesting aspects that make each race an absolute heated battle, from a drag racing start to barely any penalty for pushing cars out of the way, jumps, pavement, and gravel all in one lap with 6 cars all together.
Now, the main support categories for the America's Rallycross Championship is the ARX 2 Series. James Rimmer will be driving this car. He was at Silverstone commentating. Now he's back in the cockpit. We caught up with him.
Yeah, ARX 2 is something we've been looking forward to for months now. You know, our past series ended and IMG came in, you guys came in and said, hey, let's do this better. Let's do this on the level we do FIA World RX, and let's try and do it. So we've been prepping for it. We've been really excited for it. We've been training. We've been getting new drivers. ARX 2 is great. It's going to be a really good developmental series that hopefully gives that step up to those guys that want to get up to the supercar level, which everyone does in ARX 2. So we're looking at an all-wheel drive. Naturally, I spent about 300 horsepower. So about half of what the supercars are running. No turbo. But it's very much like a go-kart. It's very much a driver's car. You can't make a lot of mistakes because there's no power to make up for those mistakes. So we go out there and you have to be hitting your marks every single corner, because if you don't, you're off the pace. You know, we're looking for progress. We're looking for going out there, having a good time, putting some good lap times down, and having a great time. This is a learning experience for everyone, from the promoters to the series to us. We're all learning. So if we go out there, we don't get a podium, it's not the end of the world. We're learning, and we're going to go on to Canada and bring that with us.
Now, calling the play-by-play action will be Andrew Coley, the voice of Rallycross. Joining him today, Bucky Lasik, former Rallycross driver. Gentlemen?
Thanks, Don. We're up in the spotters tower here overlooking the circuit. We've got a fantastic view. I've been at America's Rallycross already back in the UK, but Bucky Lasek, of course, you used to compete in Rallycross, and I know you'd rather be in the car, but how cool is this?
Yeah, let's not talk about that right now, but yeah, this is awesome. All the teams are here, Volkswagen, Ford, Subaru. Lots of new development. I'm looking forward to what these guys have come up on.
You think the cars have come on a fair bit since you were sitting in them?
Oh, definitely. It's been about 2 years, so I know the cars have come a long way. Lots of development with suspension. I know Subaru's been working with their motor package, and Volkswagen, they're just straight up fast all the time.
Super hot here today. Brand new Rallycross track, some new drivers and cars as well, so we're really looking forward to getting Q1 underway.
Introducing the all-new Volkswagen Jetta with App Connect and available Beats audio.
Walking around, then I'll pick him off in a second. So we're now on the starting grid for the ARX2 category. Cole Keys showed up first. Alex Keys is right there in the Racing for Detroit car, the champion car. We're going to go see him, see what he thinks. This is, I remind you, this is the first round of the ARX2 category. We had ARX at Silverstone in May, These guys have been standing by. Now they will be here at COTA. There will be a Three Rivers 4th and 5th of August. Then we're coming back here for the third round of ARX2 in end of September, 29th and 30th. The sun is shining. The track is going to be very, very fast. These grippy Cooper tires, they love the heat. Because they get to cool down once they get on the gravel, but once they get on the asphalt, you really want them to be as warm as they can be. We're going to go see Cole Keats, who's over there. He was the first one on the grid, very anxious to go. He's an RX2 veteran. The kid is very keen. He is learning a lot in this category. Cole, you're home. You're here in the States. Silverstone, nobody ran over there, but you'll be here, Three Rivers in Austin. What do you expect for this race here?
It's going to be a tough one. Definitely hot out here, so we're battling endurance, stuff like that, but our car is awesome right now. I mean, Josh has set it up perfect, and this Black Rifle Peters and Keats car is just flawless. So I have no complaints. We're going to the first heat. I start on pole, so like I said, no complaints here.
What's your take on the track? The track seems to be a little short.
Yeah, it's definitely short, but it is actually pretty cool because there's an off-road track that we used to run on, and it's 180-degree corners. Well, that's exactly like here is. So you're just trying to feel it out. How much do you want to like flick it in? How much do you want to actually drive it in? But I mean, it's an awesome track. Definitely, we're battling the grip level right now. We've tried some stuff, but some worked, some didn't. But that's what we're here to do.
Very good. It's a level playing field for everyone. Thank you. Good luck. Have a good race. We're going to head over to see James Rimmer. He was, I remind you, the commentator back at Silverstone event, the ARX event, but now he can't be here. That's why we got Bucky Lasik, because James is in the cockpit. He will be driving the number 25 machine, the DirtFish machine. Obviously, he trained a lot at DirtFish. James, you saw the RX cars at Silverstone. Now you're back home here in the States. What's your take? How do you see the day playing out?
It's gonna be an interesting day. You know, it was really loose to start out with, but now it's gotten a little blue groove. So the dirt is actually almost like tarmac. So we're racing as a road racing line now instead of dirt. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to, but we're gonna get out there. It's a really fun track, and this is all for time. We're not for position. So it's about not making mistakes, minimizing mistakes, and that's what we've been trying to do all season. So we're gonna go out there, and it'll be a lot of fun.
What about the jump?
Jump is okay. Jump is good. It's a smaller one because you're coming up on it in first gear. It's good. It unsettles the car a little bit. Makes for a good show, though. Some good passes, maybe.
Very good. Enjoy the show.
Appreciate it.
So James Rimmer will be there with the whole DirtFish team. They have 4 cars in the lineup today. So we are very happy to see them. You can see James's car. We got Anderson's car. We have a Jamaican driver in ARX2, so he will be one to watch. First heat is getting ready. Another DirtFish car over there. What do you say we're going to go see Brooks, number 44? Is everything good over here? How do you see this race coming through first ARX2 race of the year?
We'll see how it goes. I mean, we're just hoping for the best. Keep our nose clean. Hopefully get a good total time. It's a little different than what I've raced before, but we're getting used to it. I did one race in Sweden where we had the same system, and it worked out pretty well for us, and hopefully we have the same result here.
Very good. Thank you very much. Good luck. Have a good race. So the boys are very keen to go. As you can see, you know, a little bit of shade now. The clouds are coming in front of the sun, so that might help a little bit cool the track. But the Cooper tires, they're tires that are made basically for 10 miles. So we're going to have to see who manages them the best, because, you know, usually when you do a long road race, you do a NASCAR race, you need to manage the tire over an 80, 90, 100 mile period. Here, you're not even going to run 10 miles during the whole weekend. With the short track we have, it should be very, very, very interesting. So we're going to the commentary box with Andrew Coley, Bucky Lasik. Guys, take it away.
Really looking forward to this. We've just seen the guys down there on the grid. Bucky, interesting, a couple of them talking about grip levels. Like the one guy saying, oh, okay, we're waiting for the grip to come. James saying, okay, we think the grip's there. Is that a settings thing, or is it just personal feeling?
No, it's kind of a personal feeling. Right now, the track is really green because the track's been cleaned. So right now, the guys are going to run on a clean track, so they don't really have to worry about it. So I think right now it's just a matter of just getting out there and feeling it out. You know, this is what the track's going to feel like, freshly groomed, so the guys want to know what it feels like.
And I guess they don't want to make any mistakes. It's going to be a long day. Remember, all of the racing is happening today, right through to the semi-finals and the finals. Here is the very first grid. So on this one, we have Fraser McConnell, Matt Karpov, Alex Keys, and Connor Martell.
Alex Keys, he's super fast. Connor, he's definitely proven himself to be up there with the top guys. Matt and Fraser, these guys, I haven't seen too much of them yet. Do you know much about these guys?
I think Fraser, I believe, hasn't got any Rallycross experience yet. So
it's going to be fun to watch him.
So rally, I believe, but not so much on the Rallycross side. So we're learning about some of these ARX2 drivers as you guys are at home. Remember, let us know what you think if you're watching on Facebook. I know some of you are watching on YouTube, some of you on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, hit us in the comments section. We'd love to know what you think of the new track. Who is your money on for the win here at round 2 of America's Rallycross? So 4 cars lining up. These drivers will be keen, won't they, to get away as quickly as they can from the grid. I think I just saw the marshal at this end trip over the jump start sensor. So
yeah, I see that. That's new to me. I've never seen the sensors like that.
Yeah, so this comes from the World Championship. So we set the cars 12 centimetres back from the jump start sensor, and then that way we can figure out whether or not they've done a jump start. So sometimes we see a mega reaction time, and you know someone's guessed the lights. But here we go. Fantastic start, but not in Peter Link's Karpov, I think, who's gone backwards, heading down towards turn 1. Interesting. So 3 cars go Joker straight away, and into the standard lap on the side, just the one. So we've got Fraser McConnell, our Rallycross novice, is the guy who's taken the standard lap, first time over the jump, and this is the first time we've seen racing on this track, Bucky. So we're going to be learning about this track as these guys are.
That's correct. We already have body panels flying everywhere.
Okay, back onto the tarmac section down. This is a long braking zone into a right-hander. This is the really narrow gravel section coming up, so they're going to have to thread the needle. Look how narrow it is right here. Oh, okay, that's back up into turn 1 again. So McConnell taking the standard lap. Okay, so McConnell now is the only guy who hasn't joked with Bucky, and so he's going to be the out front. We don't really know what the gap's going to be. Top of your screen, you can see there's a red line on McConnell. That means he hasn't taken the joke lap. If you're brand new to Rallycross, it's a 4-lap heat race. It's about race time, not position. But obviously, if you're coming in first place, you've got the fastest time, and they can all use that joker lap tactically.
Yeah, and they're reeling him in as well. He took the joker, and they're reeling him in. So we're going to see if these guys can catch him.
So if they're reeling him in, for me, the spotter should be calling and saying, look, take your joker now, cover them off.
That's what I would do too. I would take the joker. If I feel like I'm getting close to this guy.
And he does it. So McConnell takes the joker and manages to come back out in front. So great job, Fraser McConnell here, learning the trade really quickly. And I think that was the right thing to do. If the gap was coming down, Bucky, then he needed to do it. And that's exactly what he did. So good job by the spotter.
Yeah, he must be a really good road racer. He's not sliding the car around a lot.
Differences in driving styles. We were talking about this earlier on. Of course, you yourself competed with the Subaru. You know, what's quickest?
Yes. You know, it all depends on what's the surface like. You got to look at the surface. If there's a lot of dirt, gravel on the surface, then you're gonna, you know, it depends on what section of the track is it on. If it's on a section of the track where you're not gonna really gain a lot, you're not gonna gain a lot. Drive it nice and clean.
Okay, so basically keeping it tidy. And,
I think so. I think you got to keep it tidy, at least until the track gets dirtied up.
McConnell coming around the hairpin after the jump, very narrow section, and then heading back up. We can see some dirt down on the tarmac. I think the section which is going to carry the most dirt is going to be the part as they come over the start-finish line, but McConnell is going to come around and take the finish of the very first ever ARX2 race. Coming over the line, where's he going to stop the clock? So it's a 2:33.246 for Fraser McConnell, 1.6 seconds ahead of Martell.
And that's it.
Nicely done. So that's a good start for him, particularly when Martell was second quickest in free practice this morning.
Yeah,
so we know he's one of the form guys. But we've still got 5 cars to come in the second race, and we'll see who's quickest of them. There's the famous
Fraser McConnell came in strong, huh?
Yeah, good job. Good job. There it is. With the win, 2:33.2. Martell, Keys and Karpov, your top 4 in that one. We can take a look back maybe at some of the action in a minute as the cars cruise back round to the holding area at the end. It is very, very hot here. I mean, we're talking mid to high 30s, Bucky. For me, an Englishman over here in the States, this is hot. How's it for the guys in the car? Because it's not exactly the most, the coolest outfit to wear,
You know what?
is it?
It's hot where we are, so I imagine double that in the car.
Really?
Yeah, it's just stagnant. It's just stale, dead, dry air.
And did you use a cool suit or anything? Because some of the guys use cool suits.
Actually, they wouldn't let me run my cool suit because it wasn't of the right material. It wasn't FIA approved.
So it has to be a fireproof cool suit as well. Sure.
Nowadays, you know, times have changed. Now they actually make them fireproof. So.
But of course, a cool suit, then you're carrying the extra weight of the cool suit, and some people see, so it's a real trade-off. Rallycross, I suppose the races are short enough that you can probably afford to be a bit hot and bothered.
Let them sweat, Andrew.
Yeah.
Let them sweat it out.
Let them sweat. There we go. There's some of our branding being taken about. I think it was that Fairmont Austin where we're staying. Very nice hotel out here in Texas. Unfortunately, someone's driven into the branding. That's pretty standard for Rallycross. So I think we can expect to see a fair bit of that over the course of the weekend.
I think he was carrying that around with him.
Dragging it around the track. Styling it out. There you can see in the background the fantastic Formula One circuit here. Bucky, I believe you've actually been here and watched the Formula One.
I have, yeah. I've actually watched it up top there, sipping on champagne.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Pretty amazing. It pays to have friends in high places.
In this case, literally.
Yeah, literally, at COTA.
It's, I mean, the track here, like any time you watch anything on the television, you don't realise what the elevation change is. Turn 1 here on the Formula One circuit is super steep. But, okay, Dominic Fougere, I think, is with our race winner.
Fraser McConnell. Fraser, how did it go for this? Fraser, how did it go for that first race?
Really good. We were not too great in practice. We knew where we were slow, so we worked on where we knew we were weak, and looked at that. And we think we're fast. We have a strong package. DirtFish put together something really great for me to work with. So I'm going to see what I can do.
You even beat the champion, Connor Martell. Well done.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks to Dom and Fraser McConnell. McConnell actually looking pretty chilled down there.
Dude, for being Jamaican, he is pretty chill.
Yeah, okay, good shout. It's pretty natural to him. Some of the guys up in the grandstand, you can see everybody here in shorts and t-shirts, including me and Bucky. We're up in the spotters tower, which is on the outside of the exit of turn 1. Here is the grid, though, for race 2 of Q1 ARX2. Cole Keats, Christian Brooks, Travis Picoy, Scott Anderson, and James Rimmer. So Brooks was really quick. He came across to the World Rallycross Championship last 2 weeks ago in Sweden. It was his debut in Europe, and he put it P2 in qualifying when we had a field of 29 RX2 cars. So
that's right. You can't slip up on us Americans. Don't forget about us over here.
It was fantastic. He was really pleased with that result, and I know he'll be hoping to be the pace setter again here this time. So Christian Brooks in second slot on the grid. We'll have a chat after this start as well, Bucky, about where you think is the favoured position on that grid. But revs are up. Watch for the ready to race light on the right-hand side, and we've got a jump start.
That's not good.
Scott Anderson in the 77 car slot 4 on the grid. You can see the lights flashing at the top, and that's where the jump start sensors come in. So we've actually got cameras at the side of the track as well, so we can double check things if we need to.
So walk us through protocol here.
So the penalty for this is 2 joker laps. So he now has to do a second joker lap during the race. And I mean, what are we thinking? We thinking the joker laps maybe a couple of seconds slower. We haven't quite got that down yet. So we've only seen 1 race here in Texas. So Anderson will have to do 2 joker laps in this race because of the jump start. Now, it's not always a reaction thing, isn't it? Sometimes it's the car creeping because
sometimes
these things,
you got anti-lag, it'll creep up on you, things like that. I mean,
clutch getting too hot. I mean,
he might have just you know, got a little bit too antsy and jumped the button a little bit on the handbrake.
So needed to hold on to the car. Has he moved forward again? I don't think he has. I wasn't sure. The lights are still flashing on the jump start board up on the gantry. Start marshals down there liaising with the race control. There's James Rimmer on the outside. Of course, DirtFish, the title sponsors of our event here. Very grateful to them. Okay, let's get this show on the road again. Good start, Rimmer on the outside. Anderson there was very nervous, and rightly so, having jumped the start really. Didn't want to get a DQ on the run down to turn 1. Into the outside goes Christian Brooks. So Brooks goes outside, and Scott Anderson takes one of those 2 show laps immediately, Bucky. Keats in the 53 car is the first driver to head up over the jump. There's the hop. It's actually very narrow down here. If the camera gets a bit wider, you'll see just how close the wall is. But those 2 guys are back joking. Anderson really needed to joke on the first lap because he's got to do 2 jokers anyway, so he's kind of out of it from a tactical point of view.
Right.
And the background,
one car down.
Yeah, it looks like somebody stopped. So, okay, Anderson, you can see top right, only half the red bar has gone, and that's because he's got that penalty joker to do. Keats in the 53 goes joker on lap 2. So Keats has gone joker lap 2. Look to the inside. And you'll see James Rimmer in the 25 car. That's a retired car we're looking at there, but we're looking out the window at the joker lap merge here. Didn't see where the position change was. So Keats had taken the joker. Rimmer still holds on to the lead at the moment. So Rimmer from Keats, but Keats only 0.6 of a second back as joker. So surely when James goes, he's going to get swallowed up here.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's faster, joker on the first lap or not. I really think it depends on where you're pinched to take.
Well, we were talking about the grid position actually just before they went off, and again, that can have a massive bearing on whether or not you can even get to the joker. Because if you're not out wide on the grid, then you kind of don't get the choice, mate.
No, you don't. You kind of get forced into a situation sometimes.
5 cars in this one, but one retired. It is Travis Picoy, sorry, is the driver who stopped. Rimmer continues to lead and has actually gapped Keats by 0.4 of a second on that last lap. So Rimmer a second up on Keats now. Christian Brooks, who was joking, and Picoy, I wonder if that's costing them time. Is he just, just taking away slightly?
He's taking a little bit away from the exit, but I think these guys are squeaking by with no problem.
Okay, well, we'll compare their time, of course, to the pace setter from the first race. So the pace setter, Fraser McConnell, remember the target time is 2:33.2. That's what all these guys are aiming for, because qualifying is about race time, as we see Rimmer come around the joker lap and slot into third. So Rimmer actually didn't get third. There's a mistake there. It's a mistake.
There we go.
Keats has made a mistake on the exit of the jump, side by side on the way down to the hairpin. Keats on the brakes.
He pushed it too hard.
So too late on the brakes?
Yeah, just pushed it too hard.
Into the side. So Picoy's car been picked up by Keats. Keats made a mistake on the brakes.
You get off the groove, you're going to slide like that.
Oh, straight into the side. So Picoy, who'd already retired, has now been hammered into by Keats, who made a mistake on the brakes. That handed the lead to Brooks. And it is Christian Brooks who takes the win from James Rimmer. Bit of excitement on that last lap, but Brooks, look, 2:33.2 is 2 seconds slower. Sorry, 2:35.5 for Brooks. So it's McConnell who takes Q1 for ARX2. Oh dear. Not what you need.
Yeah, you need to get. I think that car should have been kind of backed out of the way a little bit more, but I don't know why it wasn't moved.
I guess if he's broken down, and unless he's on the racing line, directly on the racing line, they're not going to red flag it, and so. Race carried on. Unfortunately, those guys. One of the big things here, there isn't much time between the qualifying sessions. So here's a replay of that incident.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, he just got round wide. Rimmer took his line, didn't he? And he was entitled to. It was after Keats had locked it up on the brakes. He then got swallowed up by both those guys.
He tried
on the
to go
outside.
inside on the dirty line, and then he went outside on the dirty line and got into Travis there.
Yeah, Travis at the side of the road. So those cars to be recovered. That's going to give us a little hold up on getting the ARX cars out, the Supercars. Those guys are going to be sitting down on the pre-grid, sweating. Christian Brooks takes this one with a 2:35.5 from Rimmer and Anderson. It was Keats who was leading until he made a mistake on the last lap. And here's where they slot in, look to the times overall. So if you're new to this, it's about race times. So these guys race in different heats. We can have 30 of these cars if we want. They all race in different heat races, and that then gives us the spread of the grid, the qualifying times, which determines where they go through to the semi-finals. We have a straight line start for the heats. Once you get to the semis, we have a staggered grid system. So it really is an advantage to be at the top of that table. And after Q1, it's Fraser McConnell who holds that position. So this was the start. Anderson was nervous on the restart, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He got gun shy.
So just because of the jump start, then you're then too nervous to go for it?
Yeah, he's probably thrown off a little bit.
This is Brooks. Of course, went on to do well later in the race. I'm kind of hoping we can see that moment where Keats outbraked himself at the end of the gravel section. There's the joker lap merge.
Missed it there.
Yeah, so it was late, wasn't it? And what do you think? I mean, it's Keats' job to back out of that, isn't it? Really, you can't say Rimmer's pushed him out there, can you?
No, it was all good. It was just the car was there, and he had nowhere to go. I think there would have been good racing right there on the exit.
Yeah, it could have been close. And you said as well, you think there's a passing manoeuvre maybe at the end of that long tarmac straight.
I think if you can do exactly what happened there with Keaton, get something happened, you can make something really magical happen at the end of the straight.
Well, Dom Fugere is down in the holding area with Christian Brooks, our winner from race 2 of ARX2.
Christian Brooks, great race, a little bit of a bobble. You were lucky enough to take advantage of it. Walk us through your race.
Well, yeah, we got a decent start, went Joker first lap just because I didn't want to get held up in any traffic. Cole ended up being really fast, and we just pushed really hard to catch him at the end of the race. Caught up to him on the last lap, made a pretty good move, and drove him down into the next hairpin. We were side by side, and I honestly don't know what happened from there. I just got the corner, and yeah, it was really good. Shout out to all the guys at Dry Reinbold Racing. They gave me a really good car, and hopefully we can have it good for the next race.
Thank you very much. Back at you guys.
Well, there we are, the famous tower. That's literally, in fact, you can see our spotters tower here. So at the bottom of the COTA tower there, that white tented building is where we are. We can wave.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay. We didn't get to wave. That's
wave
a shame.
to Cole.
Yeah. Cole Keats there. So Keats, Bucky, you were talking, nobody likes to wreck. Unfortunately, it happens in Rallycross. I believe you're quite skilled at repairing wrecks yourself if you need to.
Yeah, I've been known to kind of bang some dents out. But yeah, what happened was it was a good attempt. You know, he got on the inside line and got pushed out in the loose surface, and there's just no blue groove there. And blue groove is what you call rubber up over there, on the other side of the water.
You can see it here, can't you?
Just what they're driving on that dirt right there with all the black. That's what we call blue groove. And
so you think maybe then it's where he's gone defensive. So he's kind of moved offline to defend the inside, and then without the blue groove, he's maybe gone the same braking point he would have used on the blue groove.
He went on the inside, got out of the blue groove, and then also tried to come out of the, exit the apex on the outside, which is also off the blue groove. So he had his hands full the whole time.
Interestingly, Pecoy's car, which was the one which was collected, so Pecoy was parked at the side of the road, doesn't look that bad. These guys have only got about 35 minutes to turn this around, so depending on what's wrong with Pecoy's car, Keats, though, looks like heavy front suspension damage. They're going to have to work really fast, although these ARX 2 cars are quite easy to work on because they're like a space frame.
Yes, they're all clipped together. You can unbolt them fairly easily without taking the whole car apart.
They're heading back, just shutting the door. They're obviously worried that the door's flying open on the way back in. I think that's the least of his concerns right now. Well, Dom is down on the pre-grid awaiting the supercars coming round to the start, and those guys are going to be getting extra hot, as are their tyres, as they wait to take to the track for the first time competitive. Let's go down and have a catch-up with Dom Figier.
The ARX big boys are now on track with their supercars. Faust, Sandel, Steve Arpin, and Scott Speed over there. We are taking up. The track is very tight. We told you that. That's why we had a little bit of a crash, a little bit of an accident in the ARX2. We're waiting for the recovery to go through, but the big guys are ready to go. Should be very, very interesting to see how they manage to put all those 600 horsepower four-wheel drive cars, get all the power to the ground. With this heat and on this tight of a track, it would prove to be very, very interesting.
Well, there are the supercars lining themselves up. We have 4 in each of our races today. Ollie Bennett, a last-minute entry to bring the Mini from the World Rallycross Championship over here. We've got, of course, the 3 factory Subarus, the 2 factory Volkswagens. We've got the addition of Lowenbro Hoonigan Racing, Steve Arpin and Ken Block. So, going to be interesting to see who the pace guys are going to be.
It's a beautiful field, isn't it?
It is. I'm excited for this. Now, I know you're a Subaru man. We compete with those guys before.
I'm a racing man.
Yeah. But they don't have it all their own way, are they? I mean, so far, VW have been the pace setters at Silverstone, and then again this morning in free practice. I know you've had a wander around the paddock and had a chat to some of these guys.
Yeah, these guys are so dialed. VW saved some tires. They're on their tire strategy.
Yeah, they didn't even go out for the first practice session.
I guess when you're that good, you don't need to practice.
Well, because they said, we've been in for a test a couple of weeks ago. We've already been practicing, which I thought was pretty cool. And they can carry some of those tyres over to future events if you want. We've got onboards there with Scott Speed and Tanner Faust. Steve Arpin opens the door to the Focus to try and get a bit of air in there. Let's take a look at the lineup then for the first race of ARX. Scott Speed on the inside, Steve Arpin in the Focus RS. Great to have that car back in action in Rallycross, retired across from the World Championship, now appearing in America's Rallycross for the rest of the season. Patrick Sandel in the Subaru on the outside, Tanner Faust, the winner of round 1. Okay, now we're going to hear some noise. So these guys with the anti-lag on, 2-litre turbocharged engines, we're looking at about 600 horsepower. 0 to 60 is 2 seconds, so faster than a Formula 1 car. COTA has seen Formula 1, it's seen MotoGP, but it hasn't seen ARX yet, and we're about to change all that. How fast is the Focus going to be? What can Sandell do? He just missed out on a podium last time out in the UK. But watch for the Beatles. The ready to race light will go out. It's a random gap then to the green. Ah, it's an even start. But Arpin goes backwards. Faust on the outside. Speed's going to get the whole shot easy, but Speed goes tight. Faust goes round the outside. Sandell goes with it. I wonder if they've discussed that tactic before the start, Bucky.
I definitely believe they discussed it. I believe they probably are definitely giving each other room, and they definitely talked about that.
Being on either side of the grid as well, perfect tactics. It's a random draw for Q1, so it's basically done randomly by the computer. So VW getting lucky with either side of the grid and basically managing to split that. So we're looking at the gap now then between Faust and Speed. So at the end of this lap, we'll try and bring that to you. Faust, the guy who's joking, Speed, look at the speed through that gravel section. This is serious commitment.
Yes, he's very fast. He doesn't waste a lot of energy around these turns. He keeps it nice and tight. Typical Scott Speed fashion.
And Speed, you were saying, had a different driving style to Faust, but those guys have worked together a bit like we've seen in the World Championship. Petter Solberg has worked with his teammate Johan Kristoffersen to merge their styles a bit.
Yeah, they definitely bring the best out of each other.
So what, do you just look at the data and take the best from each guy?
I think it's out of frustration, probably. I think there's probably points of the track where Tanner's faster and Scott's faster, and I think they finally agree that they need to change some things.
So they desperately want to beat each other, so
yes,
that's the motivation you need. Faust is absolutely sending in the Beetle. Arpin goes Joker. Faust up the inside. You're on board with Faust now. Watch the left-hand side. Arpin comes round, but he's got him. So Faust is looking good here to get Speed. For me, the gap between them, because Arpin was right behind him. Faust chasing down his teammate. He was the winner, as I say, got top qualifier. I think he won 2 of the 4 sessions at Silverstone. Scheider won 1 and Speed won 1. So Scott Speed is going to have to joker on this next lap. He's going to come round. Top left of your screen, you can see the lap counter, and you can see that Speed hasn't jokered from the red line. You're following Faust in P2. The Beetle, quite a big car, Faust was saying. To the inside goes Faust. Speed's on the joker, but Speed's done it. So Speed is out in front of Faust.
Look at that.
Only just, though.
Yeah.
Super tight between them.
Half a car.
Faust is right up inside of the rear of Speed.
Let's see the driving styles here. Let's see the different driving styles. Pretty similar there.
You can, yeah, but you could. I know what you mean with the Faust coming from the drifting background, Speed coming from the circuit background.
Tanner will not be scared to send it in under the brakes. He's one of the best brakers I know.
This is my favourite part of the track, just for the sheer commitment in between the barriers. But it is Speed who takes it.
Yep.
Checkered flag for him at 2:23.3. So they're going around 10 seconds faster than the ARX2 cars are, which is considerably more than we saw during free practice this morning. At one point, the ARX2 cars were only 0.6 off. By the end of practice, they were 1.6 off. It's now looking like they're about 2.5 off over per lap, because we've got the joker in there to account for as well. But Speed taking the first ARX race here at COTA 1 from Tanner Faust, his teammate, by just 0.4 of a second. Steve Arpin and Patrick Sandell, P3 and P4. So we've got one more race to come from the Supercars. And we'll see if anybody can beat those times. Good drive by Speed. I think he'd be happy with that. Faust maybe...
Yeah, Sandell had a really good jump off the line too.
He did, and he went outside. I think he would have gone outside either way. I mean, sometimes you make a decision based on where the other cars go.
Yeah, I think it's just the speed, the momentum that you have coming up on, you know, I haven't drove this track, so he came up on the joker. He might have been way too deep to even brake for the joker.
So, yeah, occasionally, so you miss your braking points, you've got to go joker anyway. And in that race down to turn 1, of course, you're waiting for everybody else to brake. We've seen a few times in the World Championship when there's a joker in lap 1, you're kind of trying to out-drag the guy who's next to you. If he doesn't brake, you don't brake, and you can both end up off.
Yes, both in the tires.
Well, luckily nobody in the tyres in that one. We had a bit of carnage in ARX2. Nothing so far in ARX. Still waiting for the cars to come round to the grid. Look at that heat haze.
Have you been enjoying Austin?
I have been enjoying Austin.
It's a beautiful
cool.
city.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite cities to visit.
Yeah, it's really, there's everyone's like, oh, Austin's cool. And you're like, yeah, okay.
It's better than cool.
It is.
It's actually...
You know, yeah, it's rad, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it's insane, actually.
But why? Like,
I think it's just because the whole downtown is just, you know, it's made for entertainment.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got Tanner Faust, actually. So Tanner Faust was P2 in that race, but Dominic Fugera's managed to grab him. So let's hear from Tanner and why he didn't manage to take the win from Scott.
Tanner, Scott was finally able to beat you. He beat you once at Silverstone, but now I guess you're going to have to find a way to get in front of him.
Well, yeah, starting on the outside of the grid, which is just a draw out of a hat, basically. To finish second with a close gap, I almost consider that a win on my side. I'm super happy. So, you know, this is about overall time. Scott was ahead of us by a few seconds. We'll see how our times compare to the next heat, and then that'll locate us, you know, in our starting grids. But it's very tough to start from the outside here.
Very good. Thank you, Tanner.
Interesting. So Tanner basically saying he's really happy with the result considering the random draw.
Yeah, so outside must not be the choice spot.
Well, I mean, you can joke at that one, but I mean, he's maybe thinking that's not the fastest tactic. So Faust will be hoping for different this time. If him and Speed are the quickest two, then they would start on the inside. There is Travis Pastrana, fresh from jumping over stuff this week.
Everyone's favorite superhero.
Oh, he's a legend, isn't he?
He is.
And Ken Block. So two superstar drivers who join ARX this weekend. Ken, I saw with the Stars and Stripes mouthguarding this morning. We were doing a little piece to camera on the grid, and he was delighted to come and interrupt that. Oliver Bennett on the inside, the English driver flowing over with the BMW Mini Cooper from the World Championship to join in ARX here. Ken Block with the Focus RS. Great to have the Ford team along for the ride for the rest of the season. Travis Pastrana here for this weekend in the Subaru, and Chris Atkinson, who of course wowed the crowd back in the UK, rolling and continuing. There is Andreas Eriksson, who's up in the spotters tower with us.
He's not yelling, that's good.
Not yet.
He's not.
So I wonder who Andreas is spotting for. Has he got cans on? Yes, he has.
He is spotting for the Mini, I believe.
Okay, so Ericsson then maybe spotting for Bennett on the inside. Lights about to go out. Great start. Oh, Atkinson with a really fast reaction time. Yes. Yeah, but then he had to pick the clutch. So down towards turn one is Block on the inside of Pastrana. Pastrana having a look. So Pastrana's alongside Block. Pastrana trying to out-drag him. Block shuts the door on the barrier. It's Bennett who gets the whole shot ahead of Atco. But Atco got the best reaction time there, but it didn't work out.
Nothing. He couldn't do anything with it.
So what, wrong settings, you think?
I think it just bogged out. I think oh, look at this.
Sideways in the Mini, but is that the fastest way?
That is not the fastest way. Atco is going to eat him up.
There we go. So Atco's right on him, but importantly, of course, Block and Pastrana are probably going to eat him up as well. The focuses, I think, were down in P6 and P7 during free practice this morning. Ken was saying yesterday he was feeling really confident with the car, but and Atco sends it in the Subaru.
That was beautiful.
Inside, Ken Block around a little bit deeper. Atkinson looks like he's lost a bit of time. Is he going to get his teammate? He goes up the inside of Pastrana. So Pastrana looks like he might be struggling to get that car turned into me.
Yeah, he looks like he's struggling a little bit. He gave Chris the spot. He didn't want to fight him.
So he gets it turned into the hairpin. I wonder if Pastrana carrying a little problem, because he seems to me to be dropping back. He hasn't been in a rallycross car, I think he said, for a couple of years.
Yeah, he probably just went straight to David Higgins settings. He was like, just put David Higgins settings on there and I'll drive the crap out of it.
He's a legend, isn't he? He drives with David, of course, all the while. Bennett leading from Block. Block chasing down the target time of Scott Speed, 2:23.3 over the jump for Bennett. Ken Block behind Atkinson. Pastrana, okay, it's not dropping off too much. Here we go, on board with Ken Block. Listen to this. They're just rapid, aren't they?
It's such an angry little car.
Do you miss driving them?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I totally wouldn't drive one right now.
Said nobody ever. Bennett is super sideways in the Mini around the Joker lap. He might just hold on here. He's looking up the inside on the merge, and he gets Atkinson. So Oliver Bennett does a great job to get Atco, backs him up a little bit. Bennett sideways in the Mini. Look at that. Pastrana was out in the dirt again. We'll go and have a chat with Travis after the race, see if we can figure out whether he had a problem. But it is Ken Block leading from Bennett as they come down to finish this one. Look at the dust. Atco has a look up the inside of Bennett through the gravel section. Oh, it was contact again.
Touch?
So did Bennett spin?
I think Bennett spun.
Block takes it. 227.3.8, so he's plus 3.8 with a 223.3. was the target time, and Block does a 2:27.1. Ah, it's gutting for Bennett. He was doing so well.
He's doing so good. Well, Andreas isn't yelling yet, so I don't think...
Maybe no one touched him, you think?
Yeah.
Ken Block in the focus, taking the second race. That's the end of Q1 here. But say these guys have only got around half an hour to turn the cars around before they're back out and racing again. So I'm looking at Pastrana's car. Ken taking his gloves off in the car because it is so hot in there. Loosens the chin strap, and then back on the radio straight away. I mean, if you haven't had any problems, you probably don't need to let the team know, but anyone who's got a problem is going to need to be on the radio saying, get these parts ready when the gap is this short.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right back on the team radio. I mean, the real superheroes are the guys in the pits making all the magic happen.
Good job by Block. I don't think he'd be mega pleased with the time. We'll need to compare that. Who else? Arpin beat him. So I'm comparing on our timing screen here. We'll have some graphics for you shortly. Go on.
I wonder if these guys are taking it easy over the jump.
Yeah, actually we saw, didn't we? We saw a suspension breakage for Block during free practice, but 2:27.1 Atco, Pastrana and Oliver Bennett with a DNF. I thought Bennett did make it out, but maybe the car then hasn't moved from the hairpin where it was. That is a real shame. Bennett was P2 in that. The DNF drops him down to P8, so that is the result after Q1. It's a Volkswagen 1-2. Speed and Faust will be on the inside of the second race in the next session. Arpin and Sandell joining them in that. Everybody else will be in race 2. Bennett's going to get the outside of the grid. Let's take another look at the start. So Atco with an amazing reaction time, but maybe not enough RPM on the car, and it just bogged. Then you have to dip the clutch, Bucky?
I don't know what he had to do there. It definitely looked like he had some issues because his reaction time was on point. He might not have loaded the car up long enough.
What, so not enough boost? Or?
Yeah, you gotta hold the car at boost for at least 3 to 5 seconds. So he might have came up a little short on that timing. Yep, spun by himself.
Yeah. So maybe hooked a wheel on the barrier on the inside.
A lot of oversteer in that car.
Yeah, he was sideways, wasn't he?
If you remember, he did that earlier too in the race.
There's the crowd, yeah. Seeing yourself on the big screen. You've got to wave to yourself on the big screen whenever you see it. Okay, Dom has managed to get hold of Ken Block, who won that second race. Let's go down and have a catch up with Ken.
Ken, great race, finished first, Q1. Awesome start for today.
Yeah, not bad. We're having some setup issues and some mechanical issues today. So we're trying to figure all that stuff out, but you know, first race with this updated Focus, and went well for this. So got a good launch, put in some okay lap times, but got work to do. I got to get quicker in these next qualifiers.
Well, you got 3 more qualifying to do, so I'll let you get at it.
Yeah, but a good way to start is finishing first in that qualifying race. So I was happy to start off the day with that.
Very good. Thank you. Good luck with the rest.
Well, good stuff. Ken Block happy to have taken the win in race 2, but the time not quite there. This is how the qualifying points work. So you get 50 points for the win, 45, 42, and then you can see there's only 1 point differential as you go further down the grid. So Bennett, 2 points off the back. That's because he got a DNF. So you get less for a DNF than you do for, say, a P8. So speed, I say 50, Faust 45. There's another 3 sets of 50 points available basically through the course of the day. Those are not championship points. That's how we put the guys in order when we get to the semi-finals. So good job for Speed and VW. Again, him and Faust right at the top of the table. Are they going to stay there for the rest of the day? Myself and Bucky are going to head down to the paddock and go and have a catch up with a few people. And Q2 will be coming up shortly.
That's it for qualifying 1 of this DirtFish America's Rallycross at COTA. Come back to us in about 25 minutes, which should be ready for qualifying 2. Until then, hello from Austin.